It's interesting how so many people keep living for what's next or retirement or need to get this much money to go and be happy. Where I was telling Blake, I literally just wake up and I'm just kind of happy that we're doing what we're doing every day. Like, I don't think a lot of people actually just sit back and be like, I'm making
they're actually
enough.
happy with what they're doing, what they're making, where they're at.
I have enough in my life. I have everything that I need. My bills are paid. There's food on the table.
Well,
I could go take vacation whenever I wanted to. I've chose not to. Like, you don't have to wait for a moment. And I was telling Blake, I was like, I'm actually really happy in the life we're just in right now. And I don't think people stop and just look at time as so precious and not.
Raise that.
That's one of the things, actually. I guess a hobby for Blake and I is definitely gardening, taking care of our property and pecan trees and everything. I think a lot of people, you see those homestead accounts out there and they're like, oh, protect against the freeze and protect against the heat. But no one's out there being like, protect against the flooding. Like, it does actually happen. Like, chickens like water, but not that much water.
Yeah, and you guys I don't know, I feel like you guys you try to find ways in your life to have purpose.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of like when you make reels, you're making reels because you're doing something that you felt was purposeful and then you wanted to film it. There's some people that are like, man, if I could just farm one day.
I know.
Or they don't even think farming is a good thing until they're out there and then they're like, man, this is purposeful and I feel emboldened to do more. And then
I don't think a lot of people understand how connected they are to nature until they actually get out into nature and actually do something about it. I have a girlfriend that just came and visited and she was really, really afraid about owning property and the gardening and everything, which I'm not gonna lie, it was very daunting to me when I first moved out here. 10 acres, goats, trees, all of this. It's a lot to manage, but you learn very quickly that you can do all that and you just, schedule out your time. And she came out and saw this and now that's all she's talking about with her husband. We need to get property. We need to move. I loved it. I need to get back out there. I need to be.
No more half-ounce jams.
No, come on.
Don't be serious.
Stop.
Make more money.
Stop.
Make more money, get that land. You know what I mean? Yeah.
No, I understand that for sure.
What's another hobby of you guys'? Blake?
I mean, I think that's something that Casey and Blake could actually get along with even more is cars. We've got 2 cars we're trying to build under the house right now.
Auto mechanics, building cars, racing cars, mudding, building mud trucks.
Off-roading. We got a Jeep under the house we're trying to put back together so we can go off-roading, really tear some stuff up. That's Blake's thing. He'll teach me. I get to learn.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
One day.
Yeah.
Well, I think with Blake and his personality, it's like, I mean, if it's broken, it can be fixed. If it's not what you want it to be, it can be fixed, right? Mm-hmm. And your standard American man or your standard American woman isn't going to have $10,000 laying in the bank, $50,000 laying in the bank to build whatever they want, right? It's got to be many small bites towards where they want to be, right?
Right.
And I think that with Blake being somewhat ingenious from an automotive perspective and a business perspective, is, I can take advantage of this opportunity to rebuild this vehicle because I have the expertise to do that. I have the expertise to, I don't know, dabble in this area of business because I'm an opportunistic person. Right. I'm optimistic. I don't know where I was going, but
that's okay. No, it's actually transferred over pretty wonderfully. I guess I've kind of grown a obsession for old tractors because of my husband buying me one and the other one that we have. But we bought one. It definitely needed a new radiator, but it wasn't like anything he had to go learn. He just kind of looked at it and been like, oh, this is just like every other car I've put together. And now we've got it. I mean, it doesn't ever overheat now. That thing's a beast now because of just the little tinkering, because of his automotive degree and all his own interest in it. That's really been beneficial. But speaking of time, it was actually something I was talking to Blake about the other day. It's interesting how so many people keep living for what's next or retirement or need to get this much money to go and be happy, where I was telling Blake, I literally just wake up and I'm just kind of happy that we're doing what we're doing every day. Like, I don't think a lot of people actually just sit back and be like, I'm
they're
making
actually
enough.
happy with what they're doing, what they're making, where they're at.
I have enough in my life. I have everything that I need. My bills are paid. There's food on the table.
Well,
I could go take vacation whenever I wanted to. I've chose not to. Like, you don't have to wait for a moment. And I was telling Blake, I was like, I'm actually really happy in the life we're just in right now. And I don't think people stop and just look at time as so precious and not.
Well, that's why you got to chase
breath.
what you enjoy, right?
Yeah.
Like people say, once I make this much money or once I get time, I can do this or whatever, right? But nobody ever comes up to you and says, when I turn 70,
Right.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
It's like, but that's basically what they're saying.
They are.
I can't wait until I turn 70 when my knees don't work, my arms don't work. I got nothing to show for it other than I was sitting at a desk.
I spent 70 years of my life education and working, and now I've got 25, 30.
Well,
at
Christy,
most.
what's your retirement plan? What,
Exactly
doing what I'm doing now?
Right now, yeah.
But old as
enjoying my
crap.
life, yeah,
Constant
selling coins.
cash flow.
Yeah.
Right, 'cause
exactly.
what our lives
Money
are-
can be made.
Yeah, our lives are a part of what we
Yeah.
do because that's what we're passionate about.
Yeah.
But people don't think about it that way. They're like, this block of life is for suffering. This block of life is
it's for
it's like,
suffering.
I'm like, wow, you guys are like suppressing
You
yourselves.
can definitely choose to suffer. You can choose to be happy. That's for sure.
Right. It's
Yeah.
like, I don't know. It's screwed up to me for sure.
Yeah. No, I completely understand that. Okay, so you guys are young gentlemen. I have to ask these questions because we're in that segment of this podcast. Are you guys actively dating? And where are we actively dating?
I'm trying to find a church girl, but I like was interested in a girl for a while, but but they won't give you the time of day.
Of course not.
But that's the thing. It's
Not at
but
your
when you
age.
actually figuring out who they are
Yeah.
and understand them, it's like they couldn't even compete on an intellectual level to even stimulate you.
Okay.
Like there's people that probably Blake has met where it's like he comes home or he goes on a date and he's like, oh, I like this about bullying, I like this about the business, and they're like, yeah, man, I can't wait to get my new outfit tomorrow and go to work, right? And it's like,
Well,
how
might be
can
priority for someone for sure?
right?
Yeah.
But that's not like
It's not
there's
your
no
alignment,
stimulating for like a relationship. So for like the girl that I was interested in, it's like,
right.
what does their parents talk about with them at dinner?
Right.
Do they even talk about anything?
They might.
No, I know. It's just there's some things where it's like
You're in
I
that
understand
age.
that I would never that she doesn't match the energy level that I have of like, what do you want to do and how do you want to? People my age don't think about.
They're not.
They're not thinking about it.
Nah, young 20s.
And then when you ask them about, it, they're
I
like,
wasn't thinking about anything serious in my
they're
young
like,
20s.
bro, I'm getting away from that. When I ask them,
Oh, we have to ask Casey. He's a mid-20s, or he's got a different
Beyond mid 20s.
Yeah.
I'm not dating anyone, and I think Drew and I both have standards, and it's not because we think that we're better than
Right.
the person that we're looking for.
No, of
It's
course not.
that we respect ourselves and we respect the possible suitor in the future,
Right.
woman, I mean. And I think that we both respect ourselves and that woman to the point where we will wait for the right opportunity to come.
Yeah.
You can, if we're going to give a metaphor, you can shovel coins out the door for no profit, right? Just because you're doing something or you're dating somebody.
Right.
But if you're wasting your time and you're wasting the opportunity
wasting their
to
time.
date somebody that is right for you, then you're doing both yourself, your family, and her a disservice.
Right.
And I think there's a lot of people that think, okay, I'm just going to date somebody, I'm just going to marry somebody.
Right.
But the ramifications are you are dating this person and it is, or marrying this person, and it is going to affect your lineage behind you in age,
Yeah.
and then beyond for, well, forever, how long we may be here. So that could be 1,000 years, that could be 10,000 years.
Right.
You are making a very important decision. So
Most definitely.
we're taking the time to figure that out, and I think that Drew and I have something that we have we've stood on the backs of giants to get where we're at,
Right.
and we don't want to take a step back by marrying the wrong person.
No, I can.
Well, yeah, it's kind of. Well,
Yeah.
I was listening to Andrew Tate the other day before he got banned, but he was like, "So this video is not going to get monetized, so we're going to talk about it." But he's like, "Say you're a man and you kill yourself." That's
Right.
basically. He's like, your dad went to work for 30 years, to build you up, tell you what he knows. Your mom basically slaved away to make sure that you had the life that you had, and you killed yourself. All their years, all their time, their parents' time,
Right.
their parents' time developed so they can build up to this moment, and you killed yourself. It's the same thing with, I'm not going to say marriage is like killing yourself,
Right.
but it's like, I'm 25 years old, I just need a wife, I just need a woman, right?
Right.
It's like 25 years of bliss and 75 years of suffering until you die, because
Right.
it's the wrong one. And kids are like, I just can't wait until I'm 18 and get out of the house, find my lover, and we're going to get married. And it's like, and most relationships don't work out because they don't think about it like that. They don't think about it as like, this is going to change the trajectory of our lives forever.
Yeah, and not finding someone. I think that's also, Blake had to realize pretty quick that I was the one because I didn't leave him alone. Forced me on him. I think a lot of people also forget too that when it comes to dating and it comes to marriage, you have to also understand y'all are both still very two different people living together, and majority of your core interests and beliefs are there, but you're still going to see different eye to eye with people, and you have to understand that compromise is more than just y'all both getting what y'all both want out of something. Sometimes compromise is someone just has to suck it up while the other one gets what they need. But to not get so heavy and change the subject, if y'all weren't going to do coins, what would y'all be doing as a career right now? Where would you find yourself if Akosha did not exist?
Casey?
Drew's like, I don't know.
I'd unfortunately be slaving away at a desk if we didn't cost accounting.
Ooh.
In a terrible environment with people that didn't care about me,
Probably.
supporting a company that didn't believe the same thing that I do in any form or fashion, and I'd be, which there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
I mean, if you're satisfied with that, if you want your responsibilities to turn off when you leave at 5, it's up to you. What I'm saying is it didn't work for me, and it was killing me, killing my spirit, killing who I was.
Yeah,
So.
Casey would get home from work and he would just go to sleep.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I don't even want to think about life. I just want to go to sleep, wake up the next morning, and he went to work again. He might drink a Dr. Pepper.
I was going to say, how many times did I come home crying when I used to work for a company that did the exact same thing to me?
Mm-hmm.
To the point that you said, leave and don't go back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Been there. What about you? What would you be doing, Drew?
I don't know.
None of y'all had these dreams. Y'all weren't like just fantasizing off while y'all making one of those long ass drives up to like Michigan for no reason, just thinking, man, if I wasn't doing this, I could be.
I have no idea, man. I was like, no. People that got plan Bs are losers. No, it's like, no, I just didn't have a plan B. Like I didn't even have a plan A. I didn't have a plan B because I didn't even have a plan A.
Well, you go into college and it's like,
that was my problem.
You're gonna get a degree, and you're gonna roll into an office space, right? And you can't even imagine what this office space is gonna look like,
right?
Or what the job is gonna entail, right? There's so many questions, and it's like, I'm just gonna go to school and get something practical, or you could be the people that got all their loans forgiven, and they got something unpractical that they couldn't pay back their loans, but. I mean, nobody has, in my opinion, a clear-cut path unless it's something that, I mean, Blake, for example, with his automotive degree and other degrees and certifications, it was something that he was passionate about since childhood. So
no, and I get that. I think that sometimes we both struggle too, because I think I'm always talking over you too. You haven't said anything all day. Oh. I feel like I also have had that purpose, and I feel like when I'm dealing with the human body and exercising and all that kind of stuff, I feel like I'm in it. But then there's also sometimes those moments where I'm like, I could just be sitting in an office and not have to be putting this much effort in and still be getting the same pay out of it. But then it does really hit me how much the passion does play a role, I guess, that if I wasn't doing this with you, I don't know what I'd be doing, honestly. I don't know what we'd be doing outside of this besides raising cows or llamas.
I pray this doesn't sound bad the way it comes out of my mouth, but it's like, it's great that you don't have a thought in your mind that goes, what's my plan B? And plan B might sound like, what's my escape from my life? It's like, that's the kind of person that would be great, because it's like, my plan A is
I don't know.
This place, we're locked in, we're going, right? And so that's kind of where our business is too. It's like, got pedal to the metal, man. I believe it more than anybody. If you don't, then you need to get out.
You're an employee at that point.
Yeah, no, for sure. And
right.
Definitely don't ever want to be an employee of our own business. Yeah.
Well, it's like with Drew, he said he didn't know where to go, but he knew he had examples in his life of what not to be.
Right.
What not to be.
Right.
Casey, who's depressed and comes home every night and goes to sleep. Oh. I'm not going to be that.
Right.
I'm not going to be somebody that gets shoveled out of the office when management says, you're not valuable anymore. You weren't valuable from the beginning, but we made you think that way.
Right.
And now you're gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we want to be vulnerable, I mean, my dad just every few years someone goes, well, budget's tough, man. Trump's in office. Gallons of the gas is $1. All right, buddy. It was good. All the years and like I said, I say all the time, the money doesn't matter. When you die, the money doesn't matter. All it was is your time. Your time was if we took away everyone's salary, everyone would quit their job.
This actually brings up a controversial topic that I've actually liked to talk about quite a few times. I hear so many people when it comes to collecting coins, and y'all are more in the collectible side than deeper than we are. We actually like try to blanket everything. Anyway, what do you say to those people that say, I want to leave this to my kid? What is, I guess, where I find is all these people that want to leave something to grandkids and kids. Why are you putting all this money away for something for them to enjoy and safeguard when you could just be putting that money towards something that you get to enjoy while you're here? If you can't take it with you, what's the point of leaving it behind you too? If I can ask that question, or is that too much?
Well, the answer is, if you made it, you should not worry about hoarding it, because, I mean, why use the word hoard, right? Because we've seen people that have scrimped and saved and have driven vehicles for 500,000 miles, and then they have kids that don't appreciate what they've scrimped and scraped and saved for to get.
Well, I would say,
and we've had so many people come in and say, my parents left this us. I don't know what you want with that. Just take it. Yeah. We're like,
what I would say is that what you put in is what you get.
Yeah.
You failed as a parent in this area. Whatever. So I'm a collector, right? Mm-hmm. I'm the biggest collector. I'm in every magazine. I'm on an NGC grader, PCGS grader. I'm this and that, right?
Right.
And your kids don't know you. They don't know what you do. They don't know what you have. And then one day you die, and then they go, man, this guy was a legend. And his stuff went for half of what it was worth. It's like, because you failed as a parent. You didn't fail at being a great numismatist. You failed at being a parent. Be a great parent, then be a numismatist. Take your kids to coin shows, show up to the soccer games, take them to school, pick them up, show them who you are, and then when they're like, this meant something to my dad, I knew my dad, I'm going to keep it, or I'm going to make sure someone
or at least do
buys
justice
it from us.
By it. Yeah, don't let it go to someone that's just going to just want to rip someone off with that. And that's where I worry so much too, is people are buying stuff and they're just like, I'm leaving it to my kid. Oh, you need to come spend some time in a shop.
Y'all got to see what happened with what's his name's coins when he left them to his kids.
David Pike.
The Pike, Pike downward. It was bad.
About that. I heard it was so sad. That would break my
heart. They ripped them right apart, took everything. But that's
like a feeding frenzy. That's what I heard.
Yeah, it just goes back to that though. It's like, but what's the plus side of that? It's the plus side is I taught my kids. They knew what they're doing. They have a head on their shoulders. They're thinking. They're saying this is important to my dad. And then there's generations and generations of people that were taught the same thing, and their wealth is accumulated, and who they know is accumulated. Right. I mean, Kenny Jr. is an example of that. They were taught. They have a head on their shoulders.
Yeah, Blake's
the same way.
Yeah.
Where it's like.
Well, we know a few other people too that, I mean, even if they didn't have someone before them, they worked at a shop.
Right.
Like Chris's, I keep calling him his little minion. I got to stop calling him that. Oliver is an apprentice is more what he's turning into, but it's not so much that it's a generational thing, but he really does look up to Chris and really does want to learn from Chris and take on that business and live that lifestyle too. It's, I guess, heartbreaking because that is not something that's a normal thing now. And that's what breaks my heart, that people are like, oh, I'm buying it and I don't have no problem spending all this extra money on something. Well, that's your kids are just going to be like, I don't give a shit.
That's the world, right? The world puts value in prestige. The world puts value in materialism. but rather putting value in the relationships, and the other stuff will just prop up by itself.
But I guess it's also a double-edged sword. I can't complain too much because if these people aren't spending those kind of monies on collectible coins, then what kind of value would these coins be having at that point? Right. So I guess that's also the other. Yeah. Can't shoot myself in my foot there, I guess. My own foot, I guess.
Well, we just hope it would work out, but I think that the value of relationships would be great if it was improved.
Yeah. I would think so.
Well, my thought process with this David Pike massacre, if you want to use those words, is you have 17 coin dealers or the whole room, right, circling this table to buy out this collection, right?
Right.
And if you're an intelligent coin dealer and you see this happening, either from the buying perspective or an onlooker that didn't participate, is I need to have my estate, my will, my children in order for when I pass away.
Right. Or at least get something appraised, so all they have to do is turn it into someone.
Well, I mean, we spoke to 3 or 4 dealers after that, and they're like, what happened was terrible.
No, like he's like, I had a nightmare last night, and I called my daughter. That's what he said. Yep. I'm not going to say his name. That's what he said. Aww. He's like, I don't want to fall over tomorrow, and then these guys rip me apart, take my pants.
That's scary to think.
Because that's a part of David Pike's life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, coin dealing, you're my friend until you die. And then
it's just a free-for-all.
So that's why you got to find those core friends that'll be like, bro, it was never about the money, man.
Yeah. I know, that's what worries me so much, too. Thank God we don't have kids. Don't have to worry about them being little jerks.
Not currently.
Not currently. Come back in a year. No, I'm just kidding.
Come back. Next time on
9 months.
Next time you see some screaming in the background. Is that my baby daddy? It's a tiny Blake.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on, I guess, casting down wealth to the next generation, Blake?
I'd say if your kids deserve it, then they should get it. If they don't deserve it, don't give them a damn thing.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Well,
this is probably a little too private. So my step-grandfather, before he passed, his side of the family was not great. I'm not going to say last names, just so I'm not calling anyone out. His kids and his grandkids were terrible people. They were only hanging around for his money, and they were assuming when he died, they were going to get his money. He married into my dad's side of the family, and my dad's side of the family loved him like their dad, which their dad, biological dad, is still very active, was still very much alive and very active in the family. No bad ties. When my step-grandfather passed, he left everything to my dad's side of the family. And his own kids and grandkids, he left nothing to because they didn't show any respect. They were only ever around when he was sick, thinking that he was going to die. And they were just only ever around for holidays because they knew they were going to get money from him. Like,
yeah.
Wow.
So I understand exactly if they don't deserve it, they don't deserve it.
You kind of tell.
My dad's side of the
family
was
there. You're doing coins
there.
and they're not into it. And they don't care.
And don't leave it to them.
They don't deserve it.
Yeah, get it appraised and leave it to, I don't know, your wife before she goes. And if she goes before you, then sell it all and have a great last few years of your own life.
Have something written up.
Yeah, like we're not crazy into German Christmas like my mom and sister and dad are. So when my mom and dad are passed away, they're like, okay, well, it's thirds, right? As long as you guys are normal people that don't take a path where it's like, it'd be dumb to give you the money.
Right.
Right, like if you've done all you can for your kid and they've had a messed up life or someone hurt them and then their trajectory of their life is different, if you don't think, like, you almost have to take it to like an investor in belief for your kid. Like, because your life, what is your life? Your life's turned from time into money into things you can pass on. But like, I don't know, I just think that you got to put in the right kids.
Well, it's like what Dave Ramsey said, right? A gentleman calls in and says, I have $5 million. It doesn't really matter, right? And I have one daughter, the only child that I have, and she's irresponsible with money, right? And it's all really parameters, right? Okay, if I leave money to my kids, they have to love Christ. They have to be financially savvy. They must, I don't know.
Keep a job at least, or part-time.
Et cetera, right? And it's like, if they don't meet your parameters,
they don't get shit.
Yeah. And it's like, we don't give out money freely because we can. We give out money to places where we think that
you can enjoy life a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, it's like Blake, for example, right? Oh, I'm at a coin show and I see a young numismatist, right, out there cleaning tables, busting his hump like he used to, right?
Right.
And he sees that this kid is going to be, I don't know, a business partner someday, somebody that might be a confidant of mine in the future,
or an employee.
And I can invest in this person and give them an incentive to be something greater than they are now. You shouldn't need the money when somebody passes away if you're doing the right thing already.
100%.
To be a boost.
Yeah, 100%. That kind of just couples with the forgiveness stuff. Is like, why did you get something that wouldn't pay for itself? Why would you ever put effort into something that doesn't give something back at some point? It doesn't even have to be for you. Why isn't it? Why are you ever putting effort towards something that doesn't have a positive outcome to it?
Yeah. We have
don't do anything that makes you stand still.
Yeah, I mean, we have a family member that makes a lot of money.
Yeah.
I mean, more money than
anyone ever needs.
We plan to make a ton of money in our life, but
right.
I mean, he might have made more money than me and Casey might have ever made in our lives, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's never at home with his wife or kids, barely, right? And he's investing. He's like, I got this great job. I'm the president of this. I'm in a magazine here, and then he'll die in about give it 6 months. His life will be. They'll give you a cake for your funeral. They'll give you a cake for your retirement party, and then your money will be gone in 6 months.
Right.
Your life will be erased from this earth forever. So why are you doing it? That's why it's scary to me.
It goes hand in hand with the saying is money can buy you happiness. And I think that's something that someone started, or money can't buy you happiness. I think that's something that someone started that probably just didn't have a lot of money. And they were like, F it, I don't need this money. I'm going to make my happiness on my own. I don't need. Money can definitely buy you happiness. It just can't buy you fulfillment. It just can't actually fulfill the actual what you're longing and searching for. It can definitely buy. It bought this room. It bought these mics. It bought the property we live on. It bought the house that we're in. It continues to pay our property taxes. It buys the seeds and everything. It definitely can buy me happiness. I think a lot of people just think that it has to stop there. Happiness is a feeling. Fulfillment is something that continuously drives you every day. And that's what you need to long for. Not just temporary happiness is what actually continues to let you want to keep going every day.
Right. You mean happiness versus joy?
I'm talking about fulfillment over happiness. Joy and happiness are just emotion. Fulfillment is something that actually drives you. It's something you can't waver on whether you feel good or not that day. Happiness and joy can come and go. Fulfillment is something that lingers, it stays, it drives you. I think that's the difference, though.
Well, I think if we were to get biblical, joy comes from the Lord. That's if it was biblical. Joy comes from the Lord.
Oh, most definitely.
And that's more of like a permanent, like, no matter what happens today, no matter if my prayer is answered, no matter what, I'm going to say, God's got it, and I'm going to work my butt off and see what happens. But then there's the happiness where it's like, oh, yeah, we made $1,000 in that coin. Yeah. And I'm like,
I had a good day today. That made me feel happy about that. Yeah, that.
And so you got to be careful with happiness because it's like
it's fleeting.
Yeah, it's fleeting. Fickle. So for me, it's like
it's fickle.
It's like, man, we got 5,000 views or 10,000 views. That's the most views we ever got on a video. Okay.
Next one gets
next
200.
Episode.
Yeah.
What do we do next episode?
Story of
Literally, take the happiness out of everything because sometimes it gets you into this. Well, just what if I could, what if, I can't wait, and
it's
then
fleeting.
You get in this euphoria mode too, where it's like, and then the next episode, it's like you have no happiness. You're dry. Because you're like, you didn't do as good as my 10,000 views. It's like
you suck. People are leaving you. No one links your content anymore. And I think also if you want to go biblical too, when I mean fulfillment is there's a difference between my happiness that I feel with God versus the fulfillment I get from Him too. I can feel happy and joyful in God, but my fulfillment that I get from Him is a constant thing. It's never ending and undying. Versus the joy and happiness can come and go depending on, unfortunately, my circumstance. I guess the way that I was trying to put it, I didn't mean it rudely. But
that was good.
I think this was good.
Yeah, it was good.
It's a little toasty in here.
It's a little toasty, getting a little warm. So that's it for today, evidently.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for watching the Freedom Coin Show podcast. Well, it's a little bit longer, but that's great. Make sure to like this podcast if you want to hear more from us. Subscribe if you're new, and comment a little bit about if you felt like you resembled or felt like you were part of a certain conversation today. Let us know what you think down below. But see you guys in the next podcast.